Hey guys, welcome back to my solitudist corner. You know, the huge. So, how are you guys, I mean, how are you guys? Yeah, I was already like falling asleep. I was like, no, can't do this. I can't go to sleep without having had made a YouTube video. There was something else I was gonna say, but I totally forgot because I draw a lot of blanks. Hi guys, welcome back to my YouTube channel. In today's video, I'm back at the solitudist corner, as you can tell. It's gonna be one of those tangent videos, the ones that fall off a circle. Yeah, one of those. Yeah, I was waiting for my mama to go to sleep and she's like, who are you talking to? Don't want to freak her out. Oh yeah, that's what I was going to say. I remember now that my mind is waking up again. Two weird things happened today. Okay, one not so weird, but the other, yes, kind of weird. But anyways, okay, basically, okay, does it ever happen where you guys are like on your phone and then all of a sudden, it starts like moving around? Not like this, but like on your screen? Like on your screen, it's like as if somebody was like touching your screen, but you're not touching it. So I was on YouTube, and then it looked like someone paused it and then made the screen small, and then pressed something else, or went on Instagram on the latest message that I had sent, or like it opened it, and it also opened up a message that I wasn't going to open yet. I was like, let me finish this and then I'll get back to her, So then it opened it up for me, and then I was like, at first I was like, whatever, I'm just gonna let it do whatever it's gonna do. And then I was like, wait, it opened it up, and then I started thinking, I was like, oh my god, like what if it deletes the conversation with this person, or what if it, like, I was thinking, like, what if it video calls? What if it rings the other person? And then I started thinking, what if I'm unconscious? Well, not unconscious, but that's too far. Not unconscious, but like I'm minding my own business, thinking that I'm not being heard. And I accidentally, the phone or whatever it is that's going on calls somebody, or video chat somebody while I'm like here. Because at the moment I was I was sitting down by the window. I had my back to the phone, but the camera was on. And then yeah, that. And like I was aware that it was going on, but I was like, whatever. But then I started thinking all these things, and some of the things kind of started happening, like getting into the chat that I wasn't going to open yet, And so then lost my train of thought. Anywho, I think I'm repeating myself at this point anyways, so and I had my phone connected to the charger, and I thought I'm really trying hard to remember what I was gonna say. What is going on with me? Oh yeah, I remember now that I saw the cable on the ground. Sorry, I'm so sorry. Anyways, I was like, maybe it has to do with the fact that it's charging and like it's maybe out of storage, so it's going a little weird. And I was just like, why is this happening? And then I was like, what if it's because I need to close all of the tasks from the taskbar. And then I was like, I'd try that, but it still kept happening. And then I was like, oh, what if it's a so then I was like, stop messing with my phone. Whatever's doing this, stop. And believe it or not, it worked. Like, it wasn't doing that anymore. So then I was like, continue to live your life, please. I mean, I was telling myself that. I was like, just ignore it. Just keep swaying. So that's the weird thing that happened today. But it had happened before, and I'm thinking maybe it's because it's like the storage is so full and it's just acting weird. The second creepy thing that happened today, we went to El Rancho and to visit my mom's neighbor from when she was a child. She went to go visit her, and we were sitting outside, and I was just like kind of looking into the distance, and there's a lot. It's in this rancho was in the orchards, and basically I was like looking straight ahead, yeah, that way, and I kind of thought I saw somebody walking by, and I was like, and it was nobody. And then I was like, I clearly saw like legs and like a human, like a whole human. It looked real. I was like, how? You know, so then I was like, so then I looked again, I was just like, and I think I made a face because I was like shooked. And I was like kind of hoping that the people there would ask, like, what? Why did you make that face? But no, nobody asked. But anyways, I made a face, and then I was like, okay, just stare. If something moves again, then maybe there is somebody there. And then something did move, but then I saw that it was like the sprinklers, like the water from the sprinklers, like moving around. And I was like, no, it couldn't have been sprinklers. It could not have been the sprinklers. You know how sometimes like you're minding your own business and sometimes you see people walking around and you're like, oh, whatever. That's kind of how it was. But then I was like, wait, I just saw a person. Let me look. And then I look and there's no person. Yeah, that was the second creepy thing that happened. Yeah. But anywho, let me get into some other. Okay, so we went to go visit this family friend, I guess, consider family friend. My mom was friends with this girl from childhood. In her childhood, she was friends with this girl in her childhood, and she would see her when we go to Mexico. Sometimes she would see her, and she has a sister, and I think my mom would play with both of them. I don't know what the age difference was or whatever, but they're all about the same age. And she was talking about how my mom lived next door and how she would sometimes go over to my mom's house. She said that she would line up, that she would see my grandma working all day making tortillas and cooking breakfast, lunch, and dinner. She was in the kitchen all day long, feeding all of her children, and how she sometimes, que a veces se colaba, she would see like her kids lining up to get fed, and she would be one of them. Like she would just join the line to get fed. And she said, ay, me acuerdo cuando tu mamá nos hacía ranitas. And what I basically understand that what ranitas are, it's like tortillas. I'm not 100% sure, but they're like kind of like dumplings but with tortilla. She said your mom would have like a whole bucket to feed her all of her kids, and then she said she would ask. I remember your mom would ask me que si quería ranita y luego me preguntaba que si de sal, que si quería queso o con frijol, and then she would say sí con queso, como no voy a querer quesito. And then I guess my grandma would do it for her, like knead the dough. Like she would put the cheese in the dough and then she would do it, and then I don't know, she would give it to her. I'll have to check back on that. But it's funny because she said those were the good days. And then I was like, oh, that's so sweet. Like my grandma. And then she was like, your grandma was a really good person, and she said she would just do her job, feed her children, and I don't know what else she said about her. But oh yeah, and then she's like, your grandma was very elegant. You never saw her without any rings, you never saw her with any jewelry, and she always had her lipstick on. She was always formally dressed. And I'm like, dang, my grandma? Like now I see how some of my cousins get their liking for fashion from. But I feel like I kind of have like her personality a little bit. And then she was like, oh, and your mom looks exactly like your grandma. She's like, out of all of her children, I think your mom is the one that looks exactly like her. And then I think I might look like my grandma too. Although, can I be elegant like her? No. Sometimes majority of the times I look like a gremlin. I know my grandma was kind of like kawaii. She was cute. I think her personality was probably like cute, very naive, very avoiding conflict type of person that suffered and never said anything. What else? Did what she was told to do, which is kind of sad because she did suffer a lot. And yeah, she's literally like a kid. My grandma's like a little kid now. Well, she has Alzheimer's, and on top of that, she's just very, very, very old. Which I'm like, wow, my grandma's like, she's very, very strong because she's 93 years old, and she's 93 years old. I mean, she's not as independent anymore, and she has a walker and everything, but to live 93 years old, and yeah, and she never like puts up a fight. She never fights. She does complain a little bit about having to take medication. She'll be like, I have to take this, and then she'll like fake cry. She'll be like, she's a funny one. But anyways, they were also talking about how the bullying used to be when they were kids. She's like, if somebody didn't like you, all you had to do was do this. Like make faces at them or do that. And then she's like, now it's like the middle finger, now it's like all this other stuff. And she said, I think that used to be a thing back in the day too, but she said only the men would do that, not women. That if women were caught doing that, they get cussed at by their moms. Like, you know. And but that's interesting. I think not gonna do it. That's a bad word. And I think also like, you know, the letter E in sign language. I think if you do it at a certain angle, that's a bad word too. And also the knocking. Dun, 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 dun. Yeah, that's another bad word. That's another way of cussing somebody out without cussing somebody out. Also, that's it.
Sorry, I'm not sure.
At what point is point, at what point, what point did I say her name? I do not recall. Did I even say anything close to her name? I don't know if I should laugh or if I should be scared because I was frightened. I think the way to relieve that frightfulness was to laugh. After this, I'm gonna go to the living room to sleep. I want to breathe, but I can't. There we go. Guys, that really freaked me out. I'm gonna have to look back at the video to see if I said anything close to that. Anywho, let's continue. So, yeah, my grandma. And bad words. Okay, so that was it for the bad words. But it was nice to hear from my grandma, like in her youth, like what she was like. Like, I really, really enjoyed that. Because I didn't get to experience that. Well, growing up, I wasn't ever really around my grandma. My grandma was in Mexico. We were over here. My grandma, if she ever came to the US, she would go with my uncles and my aunts up in Washington. And she would stay with a particular uncle and aunt, and one of my cousins. She grew up a little bit more with her, and they would go like on bus rides and go on adventures. Even my grandma still got to go to Paris, France. She went to France with that cousin and her husband and her baby and her dad and her mom. And I don't know where else she's been, but she's been to a lot of places with that cousin. But I think she spent more of the time with that cousin if she was in Washington, but spent most of the time in Washington if she ever was in the US. I can only remember like one time, maybe three times counted of when my grandma came here to this house. And I don't even think she stayed like to sleep the night. Maybe one time she did stay like a week. But she loves Mexico, and that's her home. She couldn't, I don't think she ever was able to adjust. And who does? Who adjusts when most of her life was originally sorry. Who adjusts to the culture and everything when you grew up and most of your life was in a certain country? Like, some people can adjust, but other people still have that hope of going back and living back in Mexico. That's where my grandma is now. And thank God she's doing better now. And she goes outside again. And Because the time I went in June, oof. Not even gonna talk about that, but it was very rough. And my grandma was really sick. And she wouldn't even walk outside. She wouldn't go outside. Hardly. But we managed to get her better, and she's back outside. I see her on Facebook. She'll be outside. So good for her. That's where she needs to be. Mexico. And I forgot where I was going with that. Okay, I think I'm gonna cut the video now because my mom is slightly awake now. I don't think she's gonna wake up, but if she keeps hearing noise, I think she's gonna wonder what the heck am I doing. I'm just sitting here in my solitudist corner, just minding my business, talking to them. Let's see, do I remember anything else that they said? They said a lot of things, a lot of stories. But overall, those are like the main wrap-ups of the stories. Okay. Well, I'm gonna leave that for you to think about. And I'll be back. Maybe tomorrow. Maybe the day after that. Or the day after. I'll be here, okay? Don't worry. Don't fret. Don't fret. I will be here. Thank you guys for watching, subscribing, liking, commenting. Appreciate it. And for those of you that are new, welcome. And for those of you that have been tagging along the whole time, thank you. And for those of you going to bed, good night. And I'll see you guys next time. Why am I hungry? I shouldn't be. I'm probably thirsty. Yeah, I'm thirsty. Alright, guys. Goodbye.